What really happened to Jack McClelland? For decades, he was one of the most influential figures in Canadian publishing, a man whose passion for literature shaped the voices of an entire nation. But behind the fame and the success, there was also struggle, controversy, and a life that ended far too soon. Jack McClelland was born in Toronto in 1922, the son of John McClelland, who co-founded the publishing company McClelland Stewart. After serving in World War II, Jack joined the family business, and that decision would change Canadian literature forever. In the 1950s and 1960s, when Canadian writers struggled to find their place on the world stage, Jack became their greatest champion. He was bold, charismatic, and sometimes reckless, but he believed with all his heart that Canadian stories deserved to be told. Under his leadership, McClelland Stewart became a powerhouse of Canadian literature. He took risks that other publishers would never dare to take. He supported writers like Margaret Atwood, Farley Mowat, Leonard Cohen, Pierre Berton, and Margaret Lawrence, giving them not just contracts, but platforms to speak to the world. To many, Jack was more than a publisher. He was a cultural warrior, determined to ensure Canada had its own literary identity. But what really happened to Jack McClelland later in life? Success came at a cost. He was known for his flamboyant lifestyle, dramatic gestures, and generosity that sometimes exceeded financial sense. His company faced repeated financial struggles, and his unorthodox style of management often put him at odds with the business side of publishing. By the 1980s, the financial pressures mounted so high that he was forced to sell controlling interest in McClelland Stewart, a move that many considered heartbreaking. For a man who had given his life to literature, it was like losing a piece of himself. Despite these setbacks, Jack McClelland remained a towering figure in Canadian culture. His influence was recognized with numerous honors, including being made a Companion of the Order of Canada. But behind the accolades, his health was declining. In the late 1990s, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and the once vibrant man who had given so much to others began to fade from public life. Jack McClelland passed away in 2004 at the age of 81. His death marked the end of an era for Canadian publishing. But his legacy lives on in every Canadian bookstore, in every Canadian author who found their voice because of him, and in every reader who discovered the richness of Canadian literature through his daring vision. So, what really happened to Jack McClelland? He was a man who fought for stories, who risked everything for art, and who believed that literature could shape a nation's identity. He lived with intensity, made mistakes, achieved triumphs, and left behind a legacy that will never be forgotten. And that is the story of Jack McClelland. Every legend leaves behind a story worth remembering. If this touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Hall of Fame. More inspiring journeys await you.